Wukusu, peace, black power, and welcome to Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel. Harlem Liberation School is a black nationalist, Pan-African community organization based in Harlem. We provide relevant and credible political education to help black people wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of Brother Malcolm X. To do this, we provide panel discussions, political commentary, mini documentaries, leadership tips, classes, and interviews with some of our most dedicated and effective leaders, activists, and intellectuals around the world. The concept of Wukusu is very important to us and central to our mission. It is our greeting, our motto, and our guiding philosophy. Wukusu is an acronym for the phrase,
Wake up, clean up, stand up.
Wake up means developing black nationalist and Pan-African consciousness. Clean up tells us to identify and eliminate our self-defeating behavior that gets in the way of us being our highest selves. Stand up compels us to use our gifts and our resources to exert leadership in our communities to help liberate our people. We humbly ask you to subscribe to our channel so we can reach more people. We encourage you to like, share, and comment on our videos, and we invite you to donate to our work either through sending us a super chat here on YouTube or by sending donations through Cash App to $TRUSELF143. Now, let's build. Peace and Black Power families, Brother Ajay Taimba from Harlem Liberation School, where we proudly teach black people to, in the words of Brother Malcolm X, wake up, clean up, and stand up, family. We are in the midst until June of our Community Empowerment Series. The Community Empowerment Series is designed to spotlight and highlight, salute, and show value and honor to our sisters in our communities. They don't have to be famous, and they don't have to be celebrities, but these are black women who are living right now, walking the earth right now, who are doing wonderful work in some way, shape, or form. Some are doing it through the arts, some are doing it through scholarship, real estate. You're going to see all types of sisters coming through, and our goal is to show our sisters that we value them and we see them. Our goal is to counter the narrative that we're hearing far too often, that black women are to blame for everything under the sun, which we know it would be the opposite. When the brothers have been not on point, it's been the sisters typically who have been the backbone of our families and our organizations. So with that said, I am really happy, family, because last time we did this part of the series, we had Sister Phaedra. She was a classmate from Syracuse University, doing big things. Proud of her. I believe she's actually here watching this particular session right now. And today we got my sister, Colie Aziza. We go way back. We were very good friends, and we had very sort of mutual interests in terms of art and education and politics. I want to let you know that our sister, I think she's originally from the Bronx. She's now in Baltimore, Maryland. The sister she's been an educator, elementary school, and has specialized in special education, our babies with special needs, family. Doing very important work. She's now retired. She done put in her time. She's ready to move on to other pastures. She's been to Ghana, family. She's been doing it, singing, poetry, and it really is an honor to be able to know people you've known for 40 years and remember when you was just talking about things and, you know, taking baby steps in certain areas, and now to see them fully bloom. That is really a blessing to be alive, to see that. So we're really blessed to have our sister on. Without further ado, we are going to bring on our good sister, Colie Aziza. Peace, sister.
Greetings.
How you doing?
Oh my goodness, that was such a wonderful introduction. Wow, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing
That's
wonderful,
good.
and I thank you so much for having me. And I thank you for all that you said about, you know, how folks talk about Black women, and you want to counter that, you know, and make sure that we are recognized for the things that we do, and that you know, that negative narrative does not continue.
That's right. That's very important,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very important that we brothers take a very important position on that. So it's not just women. We have to say that so that the younger brothers who may not listen as much to the sisters may think they're being self-serving and saying it.
Mm-hmm.
When we say it, they're like, "Oh, okay, OG said it." So that's
Right.
important. That's very important. Um, Having said that, we're gonna get right into it, Sister Colie. Let me put up a few things
Okay.
um, so that people know, have your name on the screen, know what we're talking about. A little something about Harlem Liberation School on the bottom, and I think we have some comments. Oh yes, let's get this out the way right now. First of all, we got wow, a lot of comments. The lovely Queen Brenda in the building. She's saying Wakusu. That's our greeting, Sister Aziza. That's
Okay.
wake up, clean up, stand up. Wakusu.
Yes. Ukusu.
She's welcoming you to Harlem Liberation School.
All right. Thank you, sister.
She's now, I think, speaking to the audience to say, join us, welcoming our sister. Subscribe, like, and share the video with your family and friends. We have Sister Phaedra who's back. Thank you for joining us, Sister Phaedra. She was on our
Greetings,
last episode.
sister.
Very powerful, very powerful.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
those big things you're doing, my sister. Absolutely. Oh man, we have a Black Liberation Movement legend. I don't know if y'all know, my sister, Mama Sukari, is in the building.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Uh,
Greetings.
Involved the Black Panther Party for many years, the original Black Panther Party. Married to a brother that actually helped to jump off Black August, Brother
Mm.
Katari Holden. Um, Rest in power to him. And Sister Phaedra's clapping, the Queen. She's welcoming Mama Sakari, who's very I want to think of her support. She's on every platform I'm on, no matter if I video, TikTok, whatever, she's always very supportive. And we
Hmm.
interviewed her. It was powerful, and we appreciate you,
Wow.
Mama Sakari, for all you've done in our movement. You are a living legend. Sister Phaedra is bearing witness to the beautiful voice. Thank you. Thank you, Sister. Wait. Thank you, Sister Phaedra. Oh, you talking about Colie. Oh, my bad. She's talking about you, my sister. I
Oh,
thought I was getting
thank you,
some depth.
sister.
And we got the Queen. She's saying, Sister Aziza, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that's very nice. All right. All right. We're going to get into it. Now, I have a set of questions, family. We're going to try to get through them, and we probably have some that happen organically. You know how you have a conversation and you kind of bounce off of other questions. And I think the first question, for those who don't know, me and the sister go back about 40 years, close to 40 years, at Syracuse University. And as I said, we worked together back then as students and had a lot of political conversations and all types of stuff. Do you
Hmm.
remember when approximately we met, Sister Colie, and do you remember any of the projects that we were involved in?
Yes. So I do believe that we met when I was a senior. I believe I was a senior and you were maybe a sophomore. Um, and we started working. I believe was it Malachi? Did you have a friend? Did you have a friend named
Malik.
Malachi? Malik.
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 Yeah.
Malik introduced us. I knew Malik first, and I don't remember how I met Malik. And then Malik introduced us. And then we started working together with the Black Artists League. So maybe it was my junior year, but for some reason, I know in my senior year, that's when we really, really, really worked together a lot in the Black Artists League. Brother Aj wrote a play, and I directed it. Do you remember the play?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah. So that
happening,
was a lot
brother?
of fun.
That
Yeah.
was a lot of
Um,
fun.
yeah. And then we used to do the Black Artists League used to do a night at the Apollo where we would perform and then we would also invite folks from the community to come and audition and then folks will vote for them, cheer just like they do at the Apollo. So we did that. And Yeah, so there was a lot of that. I know we had art exhibits, but with that we just kind of put the artwork up, but we were actually doing a lot of the music, the rhymes. I remember we did. I think three of us pretended to be it was like our salt and pepper, right? So it was our salt and pepper. We had somebody, so it was, yeah, then somebody was Spinderella. It was three of my sisters who went on to be actually become my sorors. And you actually wrote some of the rhymes for me on that. You wrote some of my rhymes. I guess I was supposed to be salt. So and that was with the Black Artists League. So that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, but at the same time we also did a lot of sharing. I had actually transferred from Hunter College, where Dr. Hendrick Clark was one of my professors. So I
Mm.
was definitely I was moved by him. And I began to think. He opened my mind, and I began to think, I wouldn't say differently, but I would just say he opened up my mind about the world and about our place as folks, African descendant folks, what has happened and how we need to move forward. And so I was already in that place, and then I met you, and you were in that place, and so you shared a lot of information with me. You were like, if you're going to be a teacher, then you need to read Dr. Kunjufu, countering the conspiracy to destroy Black boys. And this was at what, 19? You were giving me this information. You need to listen to Frances Cress Welsing's, our honorable ancestor, Frances Cress Welsing. You need to listen to her tapes. So I started listening to her tapes. And then I actually had the honor of going to Howard once I moved to this area to see her, when she used to hold her her monthly meetings with the community. So I actually had the opportunity to go, and I used to go all the time, until she passed away. So it was all of that. And then I remember one time I had a practicum. I was doing my student teaching, and I just wasn't feeling it. I just didn't feel like I was making the connection with the students like I needed to. And I shared that with you, and you recorded a rap for me
Hmm.
with the phonics that I was teaching them.
Hmm.
And it went over really well. I don't know. I know you probably don't remember that, but
I
my
don't
my
remember that.
supervisor was really impressed. But I was at my wits end, and then somehow we got to talking, and it was phonics that I was trying to teach them with some program. And then, I don't know if I asked you or if you said, "Hey, let me add some spice to this," and we did it, and the children, loved it, and I got rave reviews for that.
Well, that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
that's that's what Black people got to do. Collaborate,
Right.
collaborate, collaborate.
Right,
That's
right,
right.
right.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Hmm.
Now this is not in the original set of questions, Sister Coley, but you mentioned some extracurricular. I want people to get the sense who may be interested in going to college, who are watching
Hmm.
this, that college isn't just about going to class, although that's a very important part.
Yes.
But it's also a lot of extracurricular. Could you tell us the role about some of the organizations you talked about, Black Artists League, some of the other organizations you were in, some of the extracurricular stuff, and how that uh, ripened your college experience and it kind of shaped your life after
Oh, most
college?
definitely. So I got very involved in the Student African American Society, and you were the president. Are you there, brother?
Yes, I just have you on the solo screen.
Okay. All right. So I got very involved in that. You were the president. That's correct, right?
That's right.
Yes. And the Black Voice, which was our magazine, that we would just put news, and also poetry. And I don't know, I put something in there. I didn't think it was very good, but I was allowed to put something in there. So that was the beginning of that writing piece. And also I pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, excuse me, which actually, when I went to the university to visit, I come from, I came from an artist background. I went to a high school for the arts in Manhattan, music and art. And so I really never thought that I would, when I saw the young ladies together, dressed the same, if I'm honest, being transparent, I didn't understand, and I was kind of thrown off by it. And I thought to myself, why would I do, why would I do that? Why would they do that? And then when I went to the university and I learned more about that specific sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I decided that I wanted to be a member. I actually also really bonded before I pledged with the young women that were on campus. They were very involved in doing service in the community, which was very important to me. And actually, then I went to the library, read about how the organization was founded, and so I became a member of that organization and did service in the community with the Deltas, Kappa Lambda chapter.
Mm-hmm. And how would you say, your work with the Black Artists League, SAS, um, anything you did in Delta Sigma Theta, how did that help you, like maybe even beyond college when when you graduated and stuff, would you say?
Right. So it shaped me. I mean, I believe in service. And I think I did going into it, but it definitely laid the foundation for me to be able to know that I can do that, that I can go out there in the community and I can work, to support others. I do it. It's just something that just really became a part of me, I think, through all of that, and also with an emphasis on helping the Black community. That's just very important to me. Actually, I worked in Prince George's County for 30 plus years. And one of the reasons why I didn't leave Prince George's County is because it is a Black community. I mean, we have Latino families that have moved in now, and so some of the schools you'll find maybe even more Latino. But I stayed in Prince George's County because um, when I first started here, it was predominantly a Black community, and it's still very much that. And so it's very important to me to teach our children. I'm going to be a great teacher for whoever walks in my room, whatever human being walks in my room. But I am there really for our children.
That's what's up. We are all we got, but we're
Hmm.
also fortunate because we're all we need, technically.
Hmm.
And that's a beautiful thing. It works out well. Now let's see. Now we're jumping ahead.
Hmm.
You have written a beautiful children's book, Corey's Dreams.
Yes. So
We're
yeah, so I
interested to
wrote.
know.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead,
go
Mister.
ahead, brother.
Okay. Um. Now, first of all, I just want to say again, because you never know who's watching or who will watch the later
Hmm.
recorded version. I want you all, we bring these guests in, to take note as to how their paths start and how they kind of the journey goes in different directions, right? So Sister Colie's starting out. She goes to LaGuardia. She's doing singing and she's doing some drama, right? She's in the Black Artists League. She joins a sorority. Now she's writing a book. You see how that's that's the way that when we don't have artificial barriers in our way and we're able to really move the way we want, and we have the education or the training we want, we can move. You don't have to be stuck with one thing. But
Hmm.
I am curious to know, how did you get into writing a book? And what is the impact that you hope this book will have?
So I was teaching kindergarten at the time, and I was talking to the children about having a dream as a goal or aspiration. And of course, at that age, many of the children didn't understand that. They were thinking about a dream that, I'm going to go to sleep, I have great dreams or I have nightmares, right? So they
Mhm.
were thinking of a dream in that way. And so I was trying to explain to them how, a different way to think about a dream. There's that kind of dream, but there's also this other kind of dream. And I was like, it's important for them, even though they're young. I mean, we want children to play and have a good time, but it's important for them to begin visioning for themselves, whether it be something that they may just want to do tomorrow. It doesn't have to be when I grow up, it could just
Mhm.
be something that I may want to do tomorrow.
All right. My sister Colie has been kicked out. I'm sure she'll be back momentarily. For those who don't know, who just tuned in, this is Harlem Liberation School. We do Black political education. We've been around since 2016, teaching our people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. We are in the midst of our community empowerment series where we're honoring and kind of shedding the spotlight on our sisters of various occupations and professional paths who pour love and service into our communities and make our communities better because they have been involved in them. Today, we are focusing on Sister Colie Aziza, former college classmate, doing big things, and she has a lot to share with us as relates to how she blended education and special education too. Very difficult. If you're an educator, you know that's not easy. Special education, poetry, singing, right? And writing books. And I believe hopefully she will be on in a minute. She will be back with us. Yes. Few quick things we want to say, some housekeeping. We really need more of you who come through to look at videos to subscribe. I receive metrics on the channel, and the metrics show me that anywhere from 35 to 150,000 people watch this channel on any given week, but a very small percentage of those people subscribe. And it's important that we have a larger subscriber base because we can then reach more people. And our goal is really, of course, we have merch and, I got books and things like that. But really what we're trying to do is reach our people with this knowledge, because we believe that when your mind is right, then everything else follows. When your mind is right, everything else follows. Some of us are circumscribed by negative thinking. And so our goal is to reach as many of our people as we can so that we can hit them with this powerful, loving, I love myself, I love the person I see in the mirror, I'm proud of my ancestry, type of consciousness. I can do anything that I work hard for type of energy, right? So please, family, share the word, share this video, like, give your comments even if you disagree, and please help our people to wake up, clean up, stand up. We do not want the world thinking that we are a bunch of losers and what other people say about us. We want people to know that the original people on this planet look like me and you, and that music, art, law, philosophy, religion, all architecture, all of that comes from the first people on the earth. Doesn't mean we're better than anybody. It doesn't mean we're knocking anybody. But everybody knows how beautiful we are. That's why they steal all our stuff. We got to learn how beautiful we are. And that's what our channel is about. Now we have our sister Aziza back. We're going to bring her back in. There you go, my sister.
I apologize for that. I'm using my phone, so I don't know what happened.
That's
Apologize.
okay. We just glad you're back. And do you remember what you were saying? What you were basically saying?
Yeah, I was saying that I really felt like that came from the divine, that the book came from the divine, because I just started writing. I didn't really know that it was going to be a book. I just was trying to find a way to help bridge that gap for the young people I was working with, to help them understand what a dream is as a goal or aspiration. And so I just started writing, and I was like, I have a book here. Now I just need to find an illustrator. And so that's basically how the book got started. That was the impetus for the book.
Mm-hmm. And I know that when we were in school, were you studying at that point? You graduated with a degree in education, am I right?
I did. I started out as a musical theater major, and then I switched to education. Yeah.
And you focused specifically on special education?
I did, because I was like, I wanted to, I always root for the underdog. And I was like, I need to have a concentration. And I also feel, the more and more that I got into it, that it is very, it's difficult for many black families, when they have a child that may not be developing exactly, may not be hitting all those developmental milestones. And I think because of the history of this country and our the history that we've had in education, we sometimes don't want to put them in the system because we don't want them to get labeled. And
Mhm.
so, I feel like being a teacher, a special educator specifically for young children, has really, I have been able to help families navigate that and really help children get the services that they need, and then move away from the special education if they don't need it anymore, because lots of times they our children are labeled and they do stay in the system and they don't need to, or in that, in the special education part of it, and they don't need to. So, yeah, so I really feel like I made the right decision with that, and especially early childhood, because you want to get your children the services that they need as early as they can. And then, if they're in, let's say, a pre, because my concentration has been kindergarten and pre-K, and, help them get around their typical peers, and their peers, and play, and because children learn through work, playing with each other, and, creating centers where they can explore, and taking them outside, and then, once they develop the language that they need, and you expose them to, the things that they need to learn moving forward into kindergarten and first grade, then lots of times I would dismiss the children if they no longer needed the services. If they still needed it, I might give them, recommend some service, but they would be mainstreamed into their kindergarten or first grade.
Now, you didn't just stop with the book. You took advantage of the fact that we're in the digital age. You created a YouTube channel,
Yes, I
and through
did.
that
Yeah.
YouTube channel, you're teaching parents how to interface, I believe, with their children, right? That may have special needs.
Right. Or just, 4 and 5 year old, 3, 4 and 5 year olds. I just found that a lot of the time that I was working with, children, I needed to work with, parents as well, to help them, if they needed it. Because some parents, they're up on it and they may not need your support as much, but other parents really want the support. And the parents that I worked with closely, I began to see their children really, really, do well. So I started the channel really to let parents and remind parents that they are their child's best teacher. And, if you need some resources and tools or advice, I can give it to you, but I really, want you to be able to feel and know that you got this, and, you can, be there and support your child, um, the right way. And because I think folks, especially being overwhelmed with all the things, working, and most parents work now. I mean, many of us are not at home. Many parents are not home with their children, and so, having to work, I think that stresses folks out. And I really wanted to give parents, a space where they can feel that they're supported.
Excellent. And I know the name of your YouTube channel is Mariama Learning.
Mariama
And there's
Learning.
people who are interested in the book. I have on the bottom a ticker, Sister Colie, that shows your website. Is that a good place where they can learn where to get the book and more about the YouTube channel?
Yes, it's colieaziza.com, and there's a store on there, so you can just buy the book, on the store. And, Mariama Learning is on YouTube, so you can just go to, yeah, Mariama Learning, and you'll see my
Mariama Learning.
videos. Hmm.
Excellent, 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 excellent. I noticed I've been in touch with people like Chuck Winder. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember Chuck.
Yes.
Um, um, you know Shahid, Leslie Copeland. You remember Leslie?
Yes.
She's a
Yes.
Soros. And I'm
Yes.
noticing a whole lot of us went into education or theology. I think that's interesting. You
Hmm.
know, kind of these. I just think that's an interesting correlation. I'd like to almost do a poll and see where people have ended up. You know, in terms of vocation, because I think that's interesting, and it says a lot too.
Yeah, that's true.
Moving on to our next question, my sister. Now, you happen to be a member of a group that I really love. Incredibly talented group of black women who are poets and singers called Liberated Muse. And I've often said that that group reminds me kind of like a Sweet Honey in the Rock in today's sort of era. Could you tell us about how you got involved with the group, the work that it does? And I think you did something historic, all of you at was it Lincoln Center,
It was the
something
Kennedy
like
Center.
that?
So yeah,
Kennedy
that was
Center. Okay.
recent.
Yes.
Yeah. So I Liberated Muse is the vision of Dr. Khadijah Ali Coleman, who's also friend, very close friend of mine. Well, we became friends as we worked together. So she started Liberated Muse as a digital community for artists, sort of like a MySpace, for artists. And then she began. Well, she's been a playwright. So once she started really getting her plays out there and auditioning folks, I went and auditioned. We had met each other earlier at a restaurant. We worked at a restaurant together, and then found her. We found each other, and I found out about her plays, and I started auditioning for her plays, and I was in several of her plays, and then from there, Liberated Muse evolved into having core members. So there are four of us. It's Dr. Khadijah Ali Coleman, the founder and creative director, myself, Angela Ballard, and Lynn Artepe Holstead. And so we focus on doing work that showcases Black women who have been in the arts, but who use their art to speak out. So they use their art as activism. Many of us don't realize that these women, we look at their art, but we don't realize that they were also activists. So that's what we focus on. And we also do tribute shows. So we've done tribute shows to Toni Morrison, Ruby D, Maya Angelou, Zora Neale Hurston. We've done a lot of work in the libraries when there might be a crowd or maybe just 5 to 10 people there, as well as a lot of work with the Kennedy Center through their social impact program, which they've now fired many of the people from the social impact program. So that will not be that probably will not be happening anymore. I mean, they still have um, programs coming out of the Kennedy Center, but that social impact program that we were really involved with is pretty much defunct. And we actually performed there in February, even though many people were telling us not to, because the current administration had already taken over and folks were telling us not to perform. However, we felt that our work is about social justice, and there was no reason for us not to. This is what we've been doing all along. So why would we not perform? This is what we do. This is our
That's
way
right.
of speaking out and saying that things are not right, and that we um, want to move forward. And let's look at the past, learn from what our ancestors did, and use that as a map to move forward. And that's what we've been doing. So we were like, why would we not do this? So there was a lot of we got a lot of press for that, because at the time, things were coming down, and we were getting it from, folks were encouraging us, but a lot of folks were telling us not to perform, that we should boycott, and we decided to do it anyway.
But it's
It's
good
yeah.
that you all performed anyway. Sometimes we have to resist some certain things
Yes.
to make points and push the needles. Nobody likes to be, the one that always has to, sound the alarm. But
Right.
we're living on the benefits of people who did. So it's good that you all said, "The hell with him, we're gonna perform anyway." That's
Right.
good.
Right.
That's
Right. And
what's
it's
up.
interesting though, what I find interesting is that it's just observation. So it's not a criticism, but we had been doing this all along, Ajay. Like I said, there's times there might be the library might be packed. There's times there might be 5 people at the library. We always felt like the people that needed to be here to get the message that we're trying to put out. And
Right.
then all of a sudden now, because of all of this, we get attention. And that's wonderful, but we've been doing this all along. So folks, please look us up, liberatedmuse.com. We continue to do the work, and shout out to my sisters, Dr. Khadijah Ali Coleman, the founder and creative director, Angela Ballard, and Lynn Artepe Holstead.
Yes. Now I'm gonna show. I got a little clip of you, my sister, singing. We're gonna
Okay.
play. Give them a little taste.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll hear you live. Spit a little something for us,
Okay.
and then we'll get back to the questioning. But here's Sister Colie right here getting it in.
I hear the drum of my people. I feel the beat in my bones, in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit. When I hear it, I am not alone.
There it is. Do you remember where you all were when
That
you
was
were
the
singing
Kennedy
that?
Center. Yeah, that was
Ah,
the Kennedy Center.
nice. And that
Yeah.
was Liberated Muse.
Yes.
We had this group on before, family, those of you watching, and it really is powerful. It's kind of like a little bit of Last Poets with a little Sweet Honey in the Rock. It's really good, and it makes me want to ask you this.
hmm
A lot of people think of political movements, and they think of the speakers, the writers, you know, the people that's holding rallies and doing marches, and they don't tend to think of the arts. And yet we know that there was a Black arts movement that ran parallel with and actually started a year before the Black
hmm
Power movement. Could you tell us from your vantage point as an artist and someone who's interested in Black empowerment, why the arts are important for political struggle in ways people may not think of?
Well, I think the first thing is we have to think about how music hits the brain, right? Because it influences humans in a way that other things may not. And also, if you think of theater, you have the visual, you have the music. So it's a multi-sensory, and then if you're interacting with the audience, you're getting a multi-sensory experience that can bring the audience in. I think for us specifically, I mean, I think for human beings, the arts are just powerful, but for us specifically, I think there is a remembrance that comes with the arts. One of the things that I wanted to share that when I was in Ghana, that I felt I feel like we here as Africans in America feel that we've lost so much. And there is, I mean, we've lost names. Many of us don't know our family, what group we came from. So there are things that we lost, language, but there's a lot that when I was in Ghana, I realized there's a lot that we held on to. There is so much that is in our DNA that we have held on to. And I think that the arts help us make that connection. That it helps us remember. So I think that is really important in our movements. Oh, I can't.
I concur with you, Sister Colie. You talked about, you referenced you using a little bit of hip hop in a class and how it went over very well with the
Mm-hmm.
students. And I I used to do that when I started teaching in '97. Oh, Sister Aziza, I was in a gang run school in the boogie down Bronx. I mean, it was wild, but I used to let them, if they finished class, the lesson, I give them a little 5 minutes at the end. I let them spit, do their poetry, do their raps, and some of them were pretty good. And it was through that we actually connected, through the poetry, through the arts. So I agree. I'm very big on arts. I think when Reagan's era tried to take the arts out of school and
Mm-hmm.
close down a lot of the community centers, I think that was a devastating blow. But I also think that our generation rose to the challenge by still the hip
Mm-hmm.
hop. We can't remember when Syracuse hip hop was there. We kept the
Yeah.
culture. Was it? We had a dance troupe too.
Creations.
Creations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like that cultural SAS would not be SAS without the Artists League and the
Mm-hmm.
Creations Dance Troupe and things like that. So the arts are very, very important, especially as an African, a black or African people. So yes,
Yeah,
definitely. Now,
rhythm, language, movement, repetition. It's just powerful, and it needs to be incorporated into, of course, into the movement, but also definitely into learning. Because you see, I mean, you're a teacher, so you'll see, someone's not paying attention, and then even if so, I'll give you an example. I have 3, 4, and 5 year olds. I might be calling someone, you know, Malcolm doesn't come, right? Malcolm, come here. Malcolm is right there, right? So it's just the way the music hits the brain,
yeah, it
and
does.
Malcolm is right. Yes, man, yes, and then once you then you incorporate the rhythm. I mean, you have everybody paying attention, ready to go, ready to move, ready to learn.
That's right. That's right. Okay. I'm wondering, is there any poem or a little piece, a little snippet of a song that you can hit us with? We can get the live Sister Aziza experience going on.
Yeah, since we're talking about it, this is appropriate. I really wanted to read this poem that I wrote when I was in Ghana, but I'm not able to pull that up. But this is appropriate because we're just talking about music and the arts. So this is called Music Is. And I actually wrote this when I was actually at a jazz concert and I was just watching how everyone responded to the music. Everyone was responding differently, but everyone was responding. Music does something to the brain like cocaine, or I don't know. I never had cocaine, but I know that it does a chemical dance in the cerebrum and cerebellum. Helps us remember and make the connections when words can't express. It can make you take off all your clothes and do something unexpected or cry like a baby from true love lost. Music is intoxicating. It is the great healer and stabilizer. You may not know God, but I bet you know music. Well, maybe music is God. It may be the one thing we can all agree upon. Music is musiki, musica, inhe, music, angaku. All colors, all hues, sound and light, a ticking time bomb, a lover's first night. It is all emotion, highs and lows, ups and downs, insides and outs. It has the power to giveth and taketh away. Music must be God. I have decided music must be.
All right. Back if we was in the Brooklyn Moon, we'd be like this. You had to snap in the Brooklyn Moon because the tenants up above didn't like all the noise from the clap, the applause, so you had
Mhm.
to snap. Good job, Sister Aziza. So you evolved into not just singing, education. You're writing and you're doing poetry. That's a good
Yeah.
thing. That's a really good thing that you're able to, blossom in different ways. That's what's up.
So I
Um,
think I was writing a lot, but I think I had shared with you that I was like bashful about sharing my poetry. And then a friend of mine said, "Well, you're not embarrassed to sing, so why don't you just infuse the poetry in with your singing when you perform?" And so I started doing that, and that's pretty much how I, get the poetry out there. But I think I definitely want to, because I think it's important for us to um, you know have our intellectual property, you know, and have it to pass down. And so I think I have enough poetry now that I can, you know, gather it together, put it in a book, and put it out there. So that's something I want to do, not this year, but you know, in the coming years, maybe in 2026.
That's what's up. For those of y'all watching, you have kids that bugging you to death. They always got a different poem or song. Give them some time. You never know. You never know
Mhm.
what they will grow up to become. You know, I remember when we were younger. One of the books that touched us that were kind of had an artistic flow. I know Maya Angelou's. I mean, she wrote several autobiographies, but I know why the Cage Bird sings was classic, and that and
Yeah.
Malcolm X autobiographies. The books really opened us up, and the arts has the same can do that in the same way. I actually was telling the Queen that I want to get more back involved in the spoken word poetry cafes in New York.
Yeah,
You
because
know, because there's a
you were
time we would go
excellent.
every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would go every week. So
Actually, can I read this one that I wrote when I was in Ghana?
yes, please.
It's okay. It's called Thoughts from a Bus in Ghana, because we took a bus, you know, across from Accra, all the way to the coast. Um, Looking out my window to the right, humans move effortlessly from their day on top of their rhythms as one in threes and fours, unknowingly creating chord combinations of life, love, and harmony. Here is the root of it all. Without you, the pulsing beat is obsolete, the melody is incomplete. I realize that streets and marketplaces are the staff and the people are the notes talking to us through song. Is anyone really listening to this origin story, to the beginning, to this glorious thing that God has done? The defiling of this place will be the death of everyone. They cannot steal the song and pretend it's theirs. Their imitation is a piss poor, pitiful man's version of the truth. Void of spirit, they went on the hunt for something to rise above and found you. Looking out my window to the right at the intricately woven glory of a people, I am connecting all the puzzle pieces of my heart. Though we have been scattered across the earth by greed and cruelty, our light will never be and can never be extinguished. You are our life song. You are the gravity that tethers us to this earth place. May we awake from this slumber and give you your just reverence before it's too late.
That's what's up. And you wrote that in the motherland.
On a bus, right? On the bus.
Wow.
I just started, I either wrote it down or I just started like using my phone and started jotting it down on my phone in the notes. Yeah.
That's a beautiful poem, both of them. And I want to follow up on a discussion we had before when you told me, I think I got in touch with you because I saw an Instagram you did. You were talking about being in Ghana. And you described the experience of feeling very relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share that with us? Because I think that's very important.
So okay, so one of the things, you know, we went across, we went from Accra all the way to the coast. um I definitely slept extremely well there. Not that I don't sleep well here. There's some things that I've changed with my eating that has helped me sleep better here in the States, but I definitely every night slept like a baby. I didn't have any problem sleeping. And we were on the go, but we weren't on the go that much. I never felt exhausted. But when I hit that pillow, wherever we were staying, I slept so well and I felt very calm and I felt very peaceful. Um Now, granted, we weren't watching a lot of TV and all of that, but there was just a different feeling there, and I had to keep pinching myself to remind myself again this remembrance that I was in Africa, that I was in the motherland, because my family, many of my family come from the Caribbean, and I had to remind myself, you're here, you're here. It felt like I was in the places that I visited in the Caribbean that my family's from. And so again, the culture, it was very much the same. It wasn't that much of a difference. The other thing that is very striking to me is that when I came back from Ghana, my body was here. I felt like my body was here, but I felt like my spirit was still there for a while.
Mm,
I would say about a month. It was almost like it was like it was like you were somewhere else, like off the planet, if that makes any sense, because I've been other places. I went to Ireland last year, and when I came back from Ireland, of course there was the little jet lag, but I was like, okay, yeah, I went to Ireland, yeah, I'm fine. But when I came back from Ghana, it was just a totally different spiritual experience, that I felt like I had almost gone through a portal, if that makes
mm,
sense. And so I would definitely recommend that everyone goes. I had a friend that went to South Africa, and they were like, well, I didn't have that experience. Well, South Africa is not where, I'm not saying that you won't have a great time in South Africa, and someone may have that experience in South Africa, but that's not where, many of our ancestors did not come from South Africa. They came from, the West Africa. So you will, I believe, have a different experience,
mm.
coming or going to Ghana and other countries in West Africa.
Yeah, because when you were relaying that to me, I thought about a brother. I don't. His name escapes me. He's on YouTube, and he does a piece called "The Price." The price of being black, and he talks
Mm,
about all the tremendous stress and worry and anxiety and pressure and how that wears on our bodies, and that when we get to places like the motherland or different places where we see a lot of our people there, a lot of our people in leadership, we're not worrying if the cops are going to do this or that, there are challenges in some of these places, but
yes.
that is that kind of freedom. I think the Queen has noted that in her comment. Yeah, this kind of feeling of you can you know
Hmm.
you can breathe. And I just thought that was really, oh look, Sister Phaedra says she had the same experience in Senegal.
Hmm.
And if I'm correct, Senegal also had a port of no return, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I believe they do. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, so that's very moving to hear when people tell me that.
yeah, and we didn't always have like hot water, you know, and after, I mean, after a while, I didn't care. Like, who cares? Like, it didn't matter because the experience was so wonderful. I was like, I'm good. It's hot outside anyway. I'm just gonna jump in here in this cold water, and and then wash up and keep it moving. But and there was an issue for me with food, because a large part of my diet is salads and things like that, and my doctor, who is from Nigeria, told me only eat cooked food, um because of the water, and so I but even with that, not maybe eating as much as I would here, honestly, that didn't affect me at all. I felt so at peace and calm. I was getting good sleep. And yeah, it was just for me, a wonderful experience. And I think I can speak for all the folks that were with me, that we really had a wonderful time.
That's what's up. I can't wait to get to the motherland. I cannot wait. Now I know that you're touring with a children's theater group.
Yes, yes,
That in and of itself is interesting. I want to hear more about it. And it helps kids with their emotions and their self-esteem. And could you tell
yes.
us more about that?
Okay, so the name of the company is Building Better People Productions, and it's a good friend of mine is the founder and the director of Building Better People, Lynn Streeter Childress. We actually went on tour in 99 through 2000. We were in a children's play, that the Kennedy Center, they have children's theater for young audiences. And so we went on tour throughout the country and to Canada from 99 to 2000. So it was about a 6 month tour. It was a pretty long tour. And so we became friends. And then she wound up coming home, and years later, she formed her own children's theater group. So she approached me once she knew that I retired and asked me if I would be interested in writing with a brother. So it's three of us, writing a play for the specific age that I work with. So pretty much for 3, 4, 5 year olds, because lots of times when schools would bring folks in for them, they wouldn't know how to adapt their performances for that age group. And so sometimes it would be too long and the children would get fidgety, or they didn't know how to move them up and down in song and movement. And they would be sitting there for too long. So we wrote this play together, Bringing Back the Sun. And all of Lynn's plays are written to support children in their social emotional learning. This specifically is about working together, which is very important, especially especially now, but I guess always folks have human beings have not been getting along. And so this play is about two young people who live on an island, and they are excited about the sun coming, and then the sun comes, but then they start arguing, and then the sun leaves. And it's about how they decide to bring back the sun, and the sun doesn't want to come back until they work together. So we get the children involved with telling us how they can work together, and they're able to bring back the sun.
Doing some wonderful work there, my sister. Wonderful
Oh,
work.
thank you.
And I hope everyone is paying attention. One of the things with this community empowerment series, Sister Aziza, that we want to communicate very clearly is that people can make strong contributions to our empowerment in a million different ways. There is no one magic bullet or magic pill. You can use your gifts in a variety of ways. And this is one of the things that we're showing. Sister Fady was talking about real estate and philanthropy. I was like, wow, that's major. And now you're coming with education and art, right? And so all of this is important. At Harlem Liberation School, we don't believe in creating a hierarchical understanding of contribution. If you're an educator, you're all important. You're a parent, you're all important. You wash, you're the custodian of the community center, you're all important. We try not to make people feel more or less important if they're playing a role. So that's very important that people like yourself be on here. And I want to also ask now, this is a broad question. A lot is going on with our community because of the politics, the political climate. What are your general thoughts about the state of Black people, let's say in the United States? And what are some things that you think we might want to do or not do?
So I think that we will be okay, because we always have been, and we always have figured it out and worked together. I mean, we are not a monolith. We think differently, but we definitely need to come together on that. We do have the same struggle here in the United States. So I think it's very important that we encourage as many folks as we can, that we come in contact with as many of our folks, to read, to research, to learn the history of us in the world, and then also specifically in the United States, since we're here, and why we're here. Because if you read and understand, if you read and research and then come to an understanding, you will understand why we are here. Because I feel like there are many folks who are like, why are we here, what is happening? And if you go back and look, then you'll really truly understand what is going on, and that this has been an ongoing struggle. I think for some of us, it has been easier. I mean, I can't say. I mean, I've had experiences where I've had to fight back and speak out, but I feel like I've had a pretty I don't want to say privileged, but comfortable, compared to my ancestors, certainly a comfortable life because of what they've done for me. And I think that being comfortable has allowed us to forget some things, and that can easily slip away, because there we never were brought here to be citizens, right? We were here to, we know what we were brought here to do. And then it was a resistance for us getting our freedom and fighting for our freedom. So I think it's really, really important that we encourage everybody to study. It is so important. And I feel like I'm learning new things every day. I mean, I never feel like I know it all by any stretch of the imagination. So that's one of the things. The other piece, and I know some folks don't want to hear this, is that we have to be very careful about religion, because that can empower. Spirituality can empower us, and religion can mess us up. Like, I mean, I guess that, but religion can just jack us up, right? And so it's very important that we, even with religion, like kind of, and that's a lot to put on people, but to kind of study that as well. One of the things with Liberated Muse, we actually did a play about African goddesses, which was very powerful and very important, but again, with religion, we think a goddess, oh my gosh, that's of the devil, and so we religion has, I think, kind of gotten in the way for many of us. And that's really, I see it all the time, even with the people that are supporting, with our Black folks that are supporting the current administration. A lot of them will say it's because of religious reasons. So it will really confuse folks. And I feel like in order to get free, we have to shake some of that off. I know folks, maybe some folks won't agree with me, but that's what I think.
No, it's understood, and
Hmm.
I think we could even add that to the degree that we everything that we okay. John Henry Clark said it this way: everything you subscribe to, that you make a part of your life, that you say you believe, that you stand on, should be helping you be a
Hmm.
better person and helping your people be better. And if it's not, then we gotta re-examine it. I know a lot of people, Black people, have adopted Islam, Christianity, whatever, Buddhism, whatever, and they did their study. They saw some inconsistencies, and they took what they were given, and they kind of what we might call Africanized it or made it relevant to their
Right.
experience. But I agree, religion or anything that does not allow us to see the world or people as they are, that has us not seeing clearly, is could be very, very dangerous. And I also want to say, and this is another subject, we're gonna have one of your sorors on to talk about it. Sister
Okay.
Cecily gonna get us into the spirituality. We're gonna
Okay.
do a whole session with her. But the other thing is to remember is not to mistake allegory for literal. That's very
Hmm.
important. A lot of the stuff, when white people came and went into our temples and stole the stuff, they took it as literal, but it was meant to be allegorical.
Hmm.
And so that kind of caused, but that's another that's another
Right.
show for
Right.
another
Right.
time. But you
Right.
make good points with that, definitely. I
And
want to
and
see, yes.
well, I was just going to say, and religion used to be a way that so many of us found community, and we were able to have that support in the community for each other as we moved um, to economic um, build our economies, and move from the south to the north. And the churches were really a part of that. And I think we might be coming back to that. I mean, there was a church actually that I went to the other day, and I was so impressed, Ajay. They have a health and wellness ministry, and they had a lady speaking there, who was teaching about herbs and just natural things that you can do if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, um, she was basically talking about how you can move away from the medication. She didn't say stop taking the medications. She just said that we can move away from these medications because they have so many side effects, and you can take these herbs and you can come to see her. And I was so impressed that they had this health and wellness ministry. Now I don't know if every church does, but I was impressed with that. So again, it's about freedom. It's about finding your freedom. And if your church is not doing that for you, then or your practice is not doing that for you, then yeah, then maybe you should look into something else. So, but I was
Yes,
impressed with that. And
that is impressive.
that was very impressed. I was like, wow, I'll be back. And they said, we'll reach out, because we're going to do these different and they just welcome the public. It was free and open to the public.
Very nice. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. And I think the church that I grew up in, I probably went to this church every Sunday from first grade to probably high school,
Hmm.
and they had a way of recruiting the youth. We were on the football team. They had the choir. They had the usher board. They had all these things. You could visit the sick and shut in, and they had even a thing where the young people could talk about issues.
Right.
So I think the probably the better churches in our neighborhoods are those that see what's going on right in front of them and respond to that what's going on. They don't,
Yes.
So I think
Hmm.
that's a good point that you raised with that. And oh, by the way, on a side note, brother Donnie, Donnie Fletcher, he
Yes, I
stopped in.
love him.
He gave said he couldn't stay, but he's giving you a
Okay.
shout out.
Okay, Donnie.
And now we are coming to the end, and I am going to say, if anyone wants to ask our sister Aziza anything that you want to know, maybe she didn't get to speak on, let us know. Maybe she has time for one or two questions. And in the meantime, Sister Aziza, I want to know, with everything that you're doing and have done in your life, teaching, writing, performing, what would you say is the major impact you want to have, or the major legacy you want to leave?
So of course, with the things that I write, I want to leave those, that intellectual property to pass down. So I have another children's book that's coming out. I have more music that's in me that I want to actually record. Um, when you say impact, it's funny that you ask that, because that's what's always in my mind. I want to make an impact. I want to make an impact. But of course, how? So I realize that what I do in my life and what's very important to me is to create spaces in which people feel, especially, like, I can speak to the classroom, where young people feel comfortable to be themselves, where they feel they can be creative, they are inspired. So I really feel that's part of my calling, to create these spaces. Now, what I didn't mention, Ajay, is I have started studying sound healing. So, the sound bowls and all that. So I've started studying that. I want to bring that to young people. But I'm also beginning to study tea, using tea, drinking tea and making tea as a practice, to meditate and help you focus and calm yourself. And so one of the things that is important to me for adults, for me to create for adults, is to create those spaces. But more than that is to show other adults how they can create these spaces for themselves, because that's what will bring true freedom. Because you can go to a sound healing event, you can go to some place where someone's doing a tea meditation, but how about you practice that yourself? How about you bring that to your life? So it's important for me to create um these spaces, but also to show people how to incorporate that into their own life.
Excellent, excellent. And also, we have two. Sister Phaedra wants to know, do you have any upcoming events in the DMV area? For those who don't know, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Yeah, I do. Let's see. I have a May 21st, I believe, with Deepwater Jazz. I perform with a another group called Deepwater Jazz. They are a jazz band, and we do some covers, but we do a lot of originals because many of the brothers that are in that group are songwriters. And so we're just, keeping that music alive, through original music, and we do covers, and I incorporate my poetry into that music. So we have that's going to be at Tacoma Station. And I think I have, and that's in DC. I believe that is the correct date, May 21st, but I will put it on social media so that everybody will see. And then I have another performance, July 31st. And that will be, or July 30th or 31st in DC. So I'll also be putting that up on my social media, and that will be myself and some musicians that I work with. So I'll just be performing. That's a solo performance. And thank you for
Very
asking that,
good.
Paige.
Very good. And I guess to the degree that we can, maybe we can help promote, or remind people of some of these events. Is that on your website, stuff like that?
It will be up. Yes. I
Excellent.
have someone that helps me, and they'll be putting it up.
So if you're looking at that tick on the bottom, family, if you go to the website, you can be privy to. So that's an excellent question, Sister Phaedra. And now this lovely sister here, lovely sister right here, named Brenda Hilaire asks. She's been asking me the whole show. How can I get an autographed copy of those books?
Okay. Well, I can send them to you. You guys, you're my brother and my sister, so I can sign them for you and send them to you. Just give me the address.
Okay, very good. But just curious, how much is the Corey Speaks book?
So on my website, it's $10, and then with the it's 15. It's 15 with
Okay,
the shipping. So it's the book with the shipping is 15.
that's what's up. You know what I'm gonna do,
Did you
Sister
say Corey
Ziza?
speaks?
Yes,
It's Corey's dreams.
Corey's dream. Corey's dream. My bad.
That's okay.
I had an idea. You know what? I think there's quite a few of us that have written books. I think we should have an online book signing.
Oh, that would be really nice.
And I mean, you're familiar with the Barudis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we got them, you, a bunch of us. We should all come on and we can sell our books. We do our little presentation, show our books, and that whole broadcast, people can buy the books right there on the spot. I think that'd be hot.
Wow, that's
So
a
we'll
great
try
idea.
that.
Mhm.
All right. So okay, if there are no more questions, then Sister Aziza, I want to thank you for all
Well,
you're
thank
doing
you.
and all you're yet to do. Because my thing is until our casket dips, we got work to do,
Yes, you're so
right?
right. You are so right.
Until we get to the other dimension and we here and our minds are right, we still are able to do work. It's never too
Hmm.
late. That's what I like to tell people. I feel I'm actually more productive now at 56, about to be 57, than I was in my 20s. I'm doing more
Hmm.
stuff. So yeah, so that's a blessing. And it's good to know you, my sister. Good to know that you're doing exactly pretty much what you said that you wanted to do many years ago. So that's a
Well, that
blessing.
that to hear that makes me it makes me feel really just satisfied, if that makes, yeah, I feel very content and even though there's definitely more to do, but it does make me feel like I'm living on purpose, and that makes me feel wonderful. The other piece that I want to say, and I always say it to you, brother Aj, is that I am so proud of you, and just I'm so humbled to know you, that you, of course, you're a man. I met you when you were a young man, but you have stayed on course, and are definitely living on purpose as well, and the things that you brought to my attention just helped me become the person that I am, and help me in my path, or on my path. And I always remembered, I don't forget, especially things that are um significant and that match my worldview, or make me think deeper about things that maybe I hadn't been thinking about. And so we definitely met for a reason, and you we connected, and now we're here, and I am thankful for all of that. Thank you so much.
That's right. That's right. You know, my thing is, and I'm not saying anything new. All the ancients said this, is that we are spirits that are wearing the costumes that we call bodies, but we are beams of
Mm-hmm.
light. We're energy, infinite energy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all connected, whether we know it or not. So absolutely, thank you, and then right back at you, my sister. We met so many wonderful people, and we're still gonna meet new people. See, that's the beauty of
Yes.
it. It's not,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
we're gonna still meet people. We're gonna have projects together. All types of things are gonna come through this. Also, the Queen says, we're so grateful for all your contributions to the babies and to our liberation. And remember, family, liberation don't look one way, and you don't get there through one path. And that's what we hope that Harlem Liberation School will help people to really, really understand. So we stop ostracizing people who don't fit our preconceived notion. That's very important. And we need to be recruiting more people to our movement by showing how we need their gift, their insight, or their talent. So, Sister Aziza, you're part of that movement. Saluting the Black women. Salute to you. Keep pushing, my sister.
Thank you
And
so
we're going to
much.
stay in touch so that we can promote forthcoming events and things of that nature. All right?
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, family, you know what we say? We out. Enjoy your evening. Love on your people. Study, organize, and
Yes.
believe good and think good thoughts. Good thoughts. And think positively and move forward in peace and love. With that said, peace and Black Power, family. See you next time.